Welcome back, everyone, to Dating Decoded. I'm Jake, your co-host.
And I'm Mia. So good to be back with all of you. It feels like, wow, we just had so much fun last time, didn't we?
Oh, absolutely, Mia. It's been too long, honestly. We've been wanting to dive into this topic for ages. It's something that, it comes up so often in our conversations behind the scenes.
Yeah, for real. And it's one of those phrases that, when you first hear it, you might be thinking, wait, what? Are we talking about business here? Sales?
Exactly, because it totally has those sales origins, right? That classic always be closing. You hear it in movies, you hear it in business books, but
But here's the kicker. It has surprising relevance for dating interactions and, dare I say it, for building genuine connections.
you absolutely dare, Mia. It's wild how applicable some of these seemingly non-dating concepts are when you actually look at them through the lens of relationships. We're going to unpack it all today.
So get ready, because we're talking about always be closing, and it's not what you think. Well, maybe it is a little bit, but in a good way.
So, all right, Mia, let's just jump right into it. What is always be closing in the dating world? Because, it sounds a little intense for like a coffee shop chat, right?
Oh, it does, Jake. It totally does. But here's the thing. At its core, always be closing, or ABC, as we'll call it, it's all about, well, it's about not letting interactions just fizzle out. It's a strategy adapted from sales, yes, but for dating, it means you're consistently, proactively moving an interaction forward towards a tangible outcome.
A tangible outcome. So not just like talking about the weather for 20 minutes.
Exactly. That's fine for a little bit, but eventually you want to get their number or set up a follow-up date or, I don't know, maybe a social media handle if that's what feels right. It's about having that intent, even if it's super subtle. It's about preventing that awkward stall where you both just sort of look at your shoes.
Oh, I've been there many times. And okay, so this comes from, we all know the phrase from Glengarry Ross, right? Alec Baldwin shouting it.
Oh, absolutely. That's the iconic origin. It's that intense sales mantra. But what's fascinating is how people in the dating space, and we've, had the chance to read a lot of their work, some of them we've even met to discuss their ideas, they really took that concept and ran with it.
Yeah, you look at figures like Ross Jeffries, who was like an early pioneer in this space, and then Neil Strauss with The Game. They really adapted it. They looked at it and thought, hey, this idea of consistently moving towards a commitment, why can't that apply to like getting someone's phone number or, setting up that next meetup?
Totally. It's about taking each conversation, like you said, almost like a sales pitch. And I know that sounds weird for dating, but bear with us, where you're aiming to close the deal at every stage. So it's not just the very end. It's about, opening, building attraction, getting comfortable, and then moving to the next step.
Right. And it's framed by some of these authors as almost a confidence building strategy, like to overcome hesitation. Because let's be honest, Mia, it can be intimidating to ask for someone's number or to suggest a follow up.
Oh, tell me about it. My palms are sweating just thinking about it for some people. But the idea is that if you have that clear intention, it actually makes you more confident and it helps you avoid just meandering. Instead of thinking, oh, I hope they ask me, you're sort of gently guiding it there.
And it's not about being pushy, which I think is where some of the controversy might come in, right? It's about keeping things moving.
Exactly. It's about forward momentum, not force. We'll get into that nuance, but the core idea is don't just hang out in uncertainty. Have a purpose, be present, but also be aware of what you're trying to achieve with the interaction. I think that's the key. What do you think, Jake?
I think that's spot on. It's almost like a roadmap for your conversation to make sure you're not just, as you said, stuck in neutral. And these guys, from what we've read, they really hammered home that idea. It's about being effective, essentially.
A roadmap, exactly. So let's get into the nitty-gritty, right? How does this whole always be closing thing actually work in practice? Because, it sounds great in theory, but when you're actually talking to someone,
Yeah, I'm not just going to walk up to someone and be like, hello, give me your number. That's not exactly subtle, right?
No, not unless you're like a secret agent on a mission. So, the first thing, and this is super important, is setting clear intentions early on. Not necessarily out loud, of course, but in your head. Like you're expressing interest and you're subtly escalating.
Subtly escalating. So it's not like, boom, number. It's more of a gentle nudge, right?
Exactly. It's like, you're reading their interest level. Are they leaning in? Are they making eye contact? Do they laugh at your jokes, even the terrible ones, Jake? That's what we call reading body language and verbal cues.
Oh, my jokes are never terrible, Mia. Come on. But I get it, those nonverbal cues. And then when you feel that momentum, that's when you propose a next step, right?
Precisely. When you feel that momentum peaking, that's your cue. It's like, hey, conversation's flowing, you're both enjoying it, you're laughing. That's when you think, okay, what's the natural next step here? Is it, let's grab a coffee sometime? Or, hey, what are you doing next week? That kind of thing.
So it's not just a one-shot deal then. Like, if it doesn't work the first time, you don't just bail.
Oh, definitely not. That's the beauty of it. It's an iterative process. So if your first close doesn't land, like if they're a bit hesitant or they say no, you don't just like throw in the towel. You adjust, you pivot, and you try a different approach.
So if they say, oh, I'm actually really busy, you're not like, okay, never mind then. You're more like, oh, totally get it. What about, say, next Friday then? Or maybe we can connect on social media instead.
Yeah, exactly. Or, hey, totally understand, no pressure. Maybe just, connect on Instagram if you're on there so we can, keep up with each other's dog pics or something light. It's about finding another way to maintain that connection, even if it's not the exact one you initially proposed.
That makes sense. And I've heard you talk about this idea of calibration a lot. That seems super important here.
Oh, calibration is everything. I mean, without it, this whole concept just goes sideways. Calibration means you're constantly reading the other person's comfort level. Like, are they leaning in or pulling back? Are they smiling genuinely or is it a polite, please leave me alone smile? Because if you're not calibrated, it can just come across as pushy, which is like the opposite of what you want in dating, right?
Totally. And that's where some of the, shall we say, criticism of this idea comes in. If you're not paying attention, if you're just relentlessly pushing for a close regardless of their comfort level, it can totally backfire, like really alienate someone. The goal is to maximize opportunities, not to make someone feel uncomfortable or like pressured into something. So it's about being assertive, but also being incredibly sensitive to their cues. It's a fine line.
It is. It's a very fine line, but when done right, and this is what we've seen from all the different sources we've explored, it really helps you to, be proactive without being overbearing. It's about creating an open path for connection, not a demand for it.
Yeah, I think that distinction between proactive and overbearing is probably the most important thing to grasp when you're thinking about always be closing. It's not about making them say yes, it's about giving them an easy way to say yes if they want to.
Couldn't have said it better myself, Jake. And it's wild how effective it can be when you nail that calibration. It really does open doors that might otherwise just stay shut.
That makes so much sense. The calibration, the subtle nudges. But okay, let's talk about some actual examples because that's where I think people really get it. What's the first one we're diving into?
All right, all right. The first one, and this is a classic really, it's what they call the direct number close after opener.
Ooh, sounds very efficient.
It is. It's super efficient. So imagine this scenario, right? You're in, say, a coffee shop and you see someone, you think, hey, they look interesting. And you go over and you say something like, hey, I thought you looked interesting. What's your name? You chat for a minute, just a quick, engaging conversation.
Just enough to like establish a little bit of rapport, a little connection.
Exactly. Not a full life story, just a minute or two of good vibe. And then here's the close part. The person says, cool, I've got to run, but let's swap numbers so we can continue this.
Oh, I like that. It's so direct, but not like pushy. It's got that built-in exit. I've got to run, which takes the pressure off.
Right? It's confident. And the context here, which is important, is that it's used in a coffee shop setting where, people are often just passing through. It's not a long, drawn out affair. And the idea is that you've gauged their interest in that minute or two.
Yeah, it's like a fast track to, okay, we clearly connected. Let's make sure this isn't a one off. I mean, I've definitely had conversations that were great, but then you just kind of drift apart because nobody takes that next step. This totally solves that problem.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are scared to make that direct move, but when it's framed like this, it actually sounds quite elegant and efficient, as you said. I like it.
It really is. It's not about being pushy, it's about being clear and decisive. And it works. Okay. So that was the direct number close. Super slick. I like it. What's next on our list of fascinating closing techniques?
Well, shifting gears a little, but still in the same vein of moving things forward, we have what they call the casual date suggestion mid-conversation.
Ooh, mid-conversation. That sounds a bit more natural, maybe less abrupt than the coffee shop dash.
Exactly. And that's precisely the point. So the example given is imagine you're having a great chat, right? Maybe you're in a park talking about music, your shared interests, and let's say one person, let's call him the initiator, says something like, "This is fun. How about we check out a live gig together this weekend? Give me your Insta so we can plan."
Oh, I love that. That's not like, hey, let's go on a date, which can feel really high stakes. It's just like, hey, we're already having fun. Let's extend this fun.
Totally. It's casual, it's low pressure, and it naturally flows from the conversation you're already having. You're literally talking about music, so, hey, live gig, it makes perfect sense.
Yeah, it's not like you're talking about, I don't know, quantum physics, and then suddenly you're like, let's go to a gig. That wouldn't work. It's got to be relevant.
Right? Context is everything. And the key here, according to some of the folks we've read, like the love system guys, is that it's applied with a responsive woman, someone who's already engaged, laughing, leaning in, showing that interest. You're not just throwing this out there to someone who's giving you one-word answers.
So it's another moment of calibration, really. You're feeling the vibe, and if the vibe's good, then you suggest ticking it up a notch.
Precisely. The effect is that it escalates to a potential future meetup, right? It tests their commitment without putting them on the spot too much. If they're genuinely interested in continuing the connection, they'll be receptive to that casual suggestion. It's like, are you in for more fun, or was this just a nice moment?
I think it's brilliant because it moves from a general connection to a specific plan, which is often where things die, isn't it? Like you have a great conversation, you get their number, but then what? What do you actually do with it? This creates an immediate next step.
Yeah, it gives you a concrete reason to get that contact information. And it's already tied to an activity, so it removes some of that awkward, what are we going to do later? And it's still about that confidence, that clear intention. You're not just hoping for a text, you're suggesting a shared experience.
Absolutely. It's like we're enjoying this. Let's make sure it happens again, but in a really relaxed, organic way. I can see why this is such a powerful tool.
It really is. It's about leveraging the present positive interaction into a future one without making it feel like a formal interview for a date. It's just, hey, this is fun. Let's keep having fun.
Okay, so we've had the direct close, the casual date suggestion. What's next in the arsenal of advancing the interaction?
Well, sometimes, you're just not quite sure, right? You've had a great chat, but you're sensing a little hesitation. For those moments, we have what's called the soft close with a backup.
Ooh, a backup plan? I like the sound of that already. Less pressure.
Exactly. It's all about keeping your options open and making it easier for the other person to say yes, even if it's not to your primary ask. So, the example given for this is imagine you've had a street interaction, right? You're chatting, it's going well, and then you say, I enjoyed this. Can I get your number? If not, maybe a quick follow on Twitter works?
Oh, that's a genius. Because if they're a little hesitant about giving out their phone number, which, let's be honest, can feel like a big step for some people.
Totally. It's like, a lower stakes alternative. Not everyone's ready to jump straight to the personal phone number, but a social media handle, especially for something like Twitter or Instagram, feels a bit more public, a bit less intimate initially.
Yeah, it's like, hey, no pressure, but if you want to keep chatting, here's another way. It gives them an out, without feeling like they're rejecting you entirely. It just softens the whole thing.
And that's exactly the context that it's used in, right? When you're unsure of their interest, you're putting it out there, but you're also providing an alternative that feels less committal for them. So the effect is it provides an out if they hesitate, but crucially, it maintains the interaction. You haven't lost them completely.
It's like, okay, you're not ready for the full commitment, but let's at least keep the door ajar. It's so smart. I mean, how many times have we all been in situations where you want to keep talking to someone, but you just can't quite get to that next step, and then the moment's lost?
Oh, too many times, Jake, too many times. And this prevents that, you know? It's about preserving that potential connection, even if it's just a tiny spark, because that tiny spark can grow into a flame later.
Absolutely. And it shows flexibility on your part, too. Like, you're not just a one-trick pony demanding a phone number. You're adaptable. You're saying, I'm interested in connecting whatever way works best for you right now.
Exactly. It demonstrates a certain level of emotional intelligence, actually. You're reading the room, you're understanding that not everyone moves at the same pace, and you're offering a comfortable path forward. It's not forceful, it's inviting.
I really like that. Soft close with a backup. Definitely a tip worth keeping in mind. It's about nurturing the connection, even if it's just a small step forward.
Absolutely. And it's another great example of how these approaches, these closing techniques, aren't just about getting a yes at all costs, but about making it smooth and comfortable for everyone involved.
Okay, so we've gone from one-on-one direct to casual suggestions to having a backup. What if you're not just dealing with one person? What if you're in a group setting?
Excellent question, Jake. Because that happens all the time, right? You're at a party, a festival, a social gathering, and you're interested in someone, but they're with their friends. This is where we bring in what's called the group close.
The group close. That sounds strategic. Like you're not just going in for the kill on one person, you're assessing the whole landscape.
Precisely. It's all about leveraging social dynamics. The idea here is that you engage with the whole group first. You make everyone feel comfortable, you're chatting, you're joking, you're part of the vibe. And then once you've done that, you pivot to the person you're actually interested in.
So it's like you're building rapport with the whole crew, and then you single out the prize.
Exactly. And the beauty of it is it adds this layer of social validation. Because you're already integrated. You're already part of their immediate social bubble for that moment. So the invitation to connect later feels much more natural, less isolated.
That makes so much sense because if you just walk up to one person in a group and ignore everyone else, it can feel a bit awkward, right?
Totally. It can feel like you're just, plucking someone out, which can put them on guard. But if you're laughing with their friends, if you've made a connection with the whole group, it's a completely different energy. The example given here is actually quite good.
Lay it on me.
So imagine you're in a group setting, maybe at a festival, and you've been engaging with everyone, having a good time. And then you turn to your target and say something like, "You're the most fun here. Let's hang out sometime. What's your number?"
Ooh, that's bold. But it works because you've already established yourself as like a fun person within their social context. It's not just some random person walking up, right?
And the context for this, it's specified as being applied at a festival, leveraging group dynamics. It's like you're not just asking them out, you're asking the most fun person from this group out. It's like a compliment to the whole group indirectly, and then a direct compliment to the individual.
Precisely. And the effect is that it uses social validation to secure a close, which enhances success odds. It's really smart. You're not just relying on individual attraction, you're tapping into the power of the social environment.
I mean, I can totally see how that would make someone feel more comfortable. Like, okay, this isn't weird. My friends seem to like this person too. It takes a lot of the pressure off.
Exactly. And it makes the invitation feel more, organic to the situation. Like, we're all having a great time. Why wouldn't we want to continue this? It just extends the good vibes beyond that immediate moment.
Man, these are some seriously well thought out strategies for navigating social interactions, aren't they? I mean, who knew getting a phone number could be so layered?
Right? It's like, it's not just about what you say, it's about how you say it, when you say it, and the context you create around it. It's all about making the other person feel comfortable and excited about the next step.
And, we've talked about all these fantastic ways to uh, close, but it's probably important to ask, is this always effective? Are there any downsides or ethical considerations to this always be closing approach? Because, it sounds a lot like sales.
That's a super valid point, Jake. Because yes, while it's framed as a proactive, confidence-building strategy, you absolutely hit the nail on the head. That sales-like persistence, it can definitely backfire.
Yeah, I can imagine. If you're constantly pushing for a close, even if the other person isn't really feeling it, that could get a bit uncomfortable.
Totally. The sources we've looked at, like from bustle.com, actually mention that exact thing, that sales-like persistence can risk alienating people. It causes discomfort from repeated closes if someone isn't receptive. And, I mean, who wants to feel like they're being sold something?
Right? It's like, I'm not a product, I'm a person.
Exactly. And then there's the whole ethical angle. TheGuardian.com brought up some critiques about objectification, challenging this idea that it's always consent-friendly. If you're ignoring soft rejection signals and just pushing through, that's not cool. That's pressure.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we talked about reading cues, but what if those cues are subtle no's and you're just powering through because you're focused on the close? That's where it crosses a line, for sure.
Yep. And that's where calibration becomes absolutely critical, like paramount. It's not just about having the strategy, it's about how you apply it. Are you actually reading their body language? Are you listening to their tone? Are you ensuring your approach genuinely aligns with their comfort level?
So it's not just about having a playbook, it's about being an intuitive player on the field, reading the game as it unfolds. You can't just run the same play every time, regardless of what the other team is doing.
Precisely. The community feedback we've seen, like from r/seduction, confirms this. People find success when they're good at calibration, when they can read the vibe. But failures, like aggressive pushes, really highlight that this isn't some universally applicable magic bullet. It's super context dependent.
So it's not always be closing at all costs, but more like always be calibrating and closing appropriately.
That's a mouthful, but yes, exactly. It's about being smart, being respectful, and genuinely connecting. It's not about forcing an outcome. It's about, facilitating a natural progression. If the person isn't into it, you respectfully back off. That's part of the calibration, too. It's not about tricking someone or pressuring them.
So it sounds like the technique itself, when used skillfully and ethically, can be powerful, but it's the misapplication or the overzealous approach that gives it a bad rap.
100%. It's a tool, right? And like any tool, it can be used for good or not so good. And for us, it's about promoting the good, the respectful, the genuinely connecting part of it. It's all about enhancing those interactions, not just getting a number.
Okay, so bringing it all together then, Mia, our final thoughts on always be closing. It sounds like the core idea is really about, well, always advancing interactions towards some kind of commitment, right? Like a number, a date, something tangible.
Yeah, that's exactly it, Jape. It's about consciously, but smoothly, moving things forward. And we've seen it's not just one way to do it, right? We've talked about direct closes, those casual suggestions, the soft backups, even leveraging group dynamics.
Right. Those were all fantastic examples from the materials we've looked at, like the coffee shop number close, the park gig suggestion, or even that subtle Twitter handle backup. They all serve the same purpose, just with different flavors.
Exactly. It's all about, how can I put it? facilitating the next step rather than just hoping it happens. But the huge caveat, and something we've really emphasized, is that its effectiveness really, truly hinges on good calibration.
Oh, absolutely. That word calibration has been key throughout this discussion. It's about reading the room, reading the person, understanding their comfort level, and then, delivering it ethically.
Because if you're not calibrated, if you're not paying attention to their cues, it just becomes like a forceful sales pitch, and nobody wants that. It needs to feel natural, like a genuine progression of a connection.
Yeah, for sure. It's powerful, this concept, when it's used with sensitivity. It's not about being pushy, it's about being intentional. And I think that's the big takeaway, isn't it?
100%. It requires that genuine connection, that empathy. It's not a script you just blindly follow, It's a framework that you adapt in real time with a real person. So always be closing, yeah, but also always be calibrating and always be respectful.
I think we need to make t-shirts with that, Mia.
I love it. Yeah, I think that captures the spirit of it perfectly. It's about smart, thoughtful interaction, not just, getting a tally mark.
I really did think that's the motto, Mia. And on that note, I think we've covered a lot today on Always Be Closing.
We absolutely have, Jake. It's been quite the journey through a concept that, at first glance might sound a little intense, but really, when you break it down, it's about being intentional.
Yeah, exactly. And hey, to all of our amazing listeners, thank you, as always, so much for tuning into Dating Decoded. We really appreciate you spending your time with us.
Truly, thank you. And just so you know, this is just one part of our ongoing series here on Dating Decoded, so do keep an ear out for what we've got coming up next. We're always trying to, decode some of these interesting aspects of dating and connection.
Oh, for sure. We've got so many more topics lined up that we think you're really going to enjoy. So to make sure you don't miss any of them, please remember to hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and definitely turn on those notifications. That little bell icon, just tap it.
Yes, please do. It helps us out a ton, and it makes sure you get all the latest episodes right when they drop. Until next time, stay intentional and calibrated.
And always be respectful. This has been Jake
and Mia
on Dating Decoded. We'll catch you on the next one.